Hello and welcome to Lenovo Unboxed. This is Gavin from the social media team here with Kevin Beck. Hello.
Hey Gavin, how you doing?
Good.
All right.
Kevin is our Lenovo brand ambassador, and we're here today to unbox the latest in a long line of what you could truly call, I think, legendary laptops. This is from the ThinkPad X series. Our latest is the ThinkPad X230t, right, Kevin?
Right. We, as last generation, we're going to have both X230 and X230 tablets, last generation being 220 and 220 tablet. But we decided to unbox the 230 tablet sort of in place of both because there's more functionality in the tablet. But we'll point out differences. And it's a more fun price. What I personally use, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, big fan myself. So I'll go ahead and do the ceremonial cutting of the tape here as we go through the box. Gavin and I, we were talking about it earlier about the sort of history of ultra portables. We've got a machine here that's 12.5-inch form factor at 3.67 pounds, and one of our other videos we're talking about that what was considered thin and light back in like 1998 was 5 pounds and 1.5 inches thick, sort of thing. So
it reminds me of the early 90s with the original, what do they call it, portable PC?
Yeah, the suitcase PCs. So the X, for those of you who aren't aware, is this is the latest version in our what we generally call our ultra portable line in ThinkPad, starting back with like the X20. They were ones before that. They were like 200 series, 230, 235. Some were only sold in Japan. Some were, there was an S30 back in the day, but we had X20, X30, X40. Then X60, we skipped X50 for some reason. Then on to X200, 201, 220.
Don't forget the
230.
X300 as well.
Yes, and the X300, X301, absolutely.
Yeah. I believe just from monitoring the Lenovo Facebook page, I would wager that the X300, possibly even the X220, are two of our most sort of beloved laptops that we've ever made. So.
Right. So we'll just sort of go through the ship group stuff here briefly once we get the computer itself out of the box. So why don't we do this and pull out our nice recycled and recyclable packaging here.
There's some instructions as well.
All right, instruction manual. And let's take this out of the bag. So this is what you folks will experience if you are gracious enough to purchase one of these from us. So if you'll go ahead and remove the packaging
I thought we were going to put a dozen eggs in there for the people.
So I normally don't talk a lot about ship groups. You'll notice there's just a little instruction and setup poster here. But on this particular model I will, because we give you a nice handy-dandy ThinkPad cleaning cloth for the models of these. Because there are models with and without touchscreen. All of them can use the pen. All of them can use the standard digitizer pen, but there are models with and without touchscreen. This model is a touchscreen model, so you get a nice sort of cleaning cloth to get your fingerprints off the screen.
So keyboard, touch, or pen input. Obviously, we're not going to boot it up today, I think, but we'll show it off at least.
Your handy-dandy 65-watt, power supply there.
Wonderful.
And lastly, but certainly not leastly, the battery. So this is what you would do for buying one of these. If it's of interest to anyone, I will just point out that on the models that are equipped with wireless WAN, where you've got your cellular data card built in, we'll have both 3G and 4G versions available for this series. The SIM card, for those of you who are on standards that use SIM cards, GSM, this is where the SIM card would go, right in here.
Okay.
Beneath the battery. And one small change that we've made, mostly just for cosmetic reasons, this generation. Now, this is pre-production, so yours will not have a customer ship level system
if it does have that, give us a call.
Yes. This is obviously proof positive that this is truly fresh from the factory. Is we've moved the stickers underneath the battery just to create a more sort of uniform, clean visual experience.
Sure.
You can still certainly get to your labels to look up various things if you need them.
Sure.
So
one note, you mentioned the 3G, 4G thing. Worth noting that the predecessor of the X230, the X220, is right now somewhere atop Mount Everest with a mountain climber who we've been getting blog posts from. You can check on Lenovo blogs, but this is between 3G and the ruggedness features, it's a good one to take when you're mountain climbing, I guess you could say.
Absolutely.
So.
I don't have the other battery here to show, but there are actually 3 battery options worth talking about for a brief time. This is the 6-cell, which is going to give you about 9 hours of battery life in the system alone. There's a 3-cell, which is going to give you roughly half that.
Okay.
Right? It's slimmer and does not stick out of the back. So if If you don't need a lot of battery life and you want to take the weight down, you know,
Sure.
that is an option. But there's also another slim 9-cell battery that we call generically the slice battery.
The vaunted slice battery. Yes.
That clicks onto the bottom of this and you click it down. And personally, as I said, this is the machine that I use because I like the handwriting on the screen, the handwriting recognition on the screen. And when I travel overseas for long periods of time, and there's not necessarily always power plugs in the planes, I can slap that slice battery on. It does add, you know, about a pound and a half, 1.6, 1.7 pounds, something like that.
But you're what, doubling your battery life?
18 hours of rated battery life, which honestly, you know, legitimately translates into, you know, 12 and 13 hours in my usage on planes. So
not bad. So if you go San Francisco to Tokyo or something like that, then you're in good shape.
Or DC to Tokyo, even DC to Beijing.
Sure.
So just a couple things here for anyone who gets one of these and wonders what these various things are. 2 screws here. You pull this cover and you get to your second memory slot and to your slot to upgrade to your wireless WAN card if you didn't order it with it originally.
Okay.
The 2 most frequently upgraded things are the things that are most easily accessible through the underneath here. And then we've got 2 drain holes here. These oval, sort of racetrack shaped, elongated ovals have a little keyboard with a drop symbol. So that's for our drainage keyboard. Now, we certainly don't recommend pouring massive amounts of water through the keyboard just to see what happens. But these are...
We don't recommend that you pour any water on it, but it's good to know that there's a spill-resistant keyboard lurking under the under the tray there.
Well, it's not just spill-resistant. A lot of people say spill-resistant, which means it can take a little bit of liquid and not have the machine blow up. These are actually drainage keyboards. So if liquid falls in, there are specific channels that are designed into the system to drain the water out of the bottom. So for that reason, if you do happen to smell something on the ThinkPad, do not pick it up and shake it. Set it down as flat as you possibly can and just let gravity do its job and let the water come out. So last thing here to unbox.
Of course, they do use ThinkPads on the International Space Station.
Yes,
so
they do.
You'd need special instructions for the gravity-free atmosphere there as well.
Yes. So for those of you who buy this, this is, for anyone who's wondering, an extra set of little nibs and tips for the pen, and then there's a little metal grabber here. Right, so if you write really hard and wear the little tip down on your pen, you would use this to grab the old one, pull it out, and replace it.
If it gets embedded accidentally.
Yes, replace it with one of the extras. So, well, I didn't realize I actually need the box cutter to open the pen as well. So
don't wear out your box cutter, Kevin.
Well, it's getting low on blades. You know,
well, we've done a lot of unboxing videos lately, let's be honest.
Yes. So here's your handy-dandy black with a red tip color and stylistically matched to your ThinkPad tablet.
Black and red being 80s heavy metal colors as well as ThinkPad colors.
So let's just go around the horn briefly here on ports, and we'll show you one other thing and then wrap this up. Here we've got your Kensington or other security T-lock slot.
Sure.
This is actually not immediately apparent to most people. We do sell additional tethers, sort of a little piece of nylon string with 2 little loops on the end. So the pen, if we can get this on camera here, is specifically made with a little captive area there. So you can loop a tether through this, loop a tether through this, and then as the pen goes in, the little tether hangs out, and that way you can never, hopefully, lose or drop the pen, as long as the tether's attached.
Nice touch.
So then we've got our combo headphone and microphone jack here, RJ45 Ethernet jack. This is the yellow-colored USB 2.0, which means it is always on.
Okay.
Which means that even when the system is in suspend, or if you so choose, when it's turned off, this will actually still, you can draw power from the battery of the system to charge a mobile phone.
Okay.
Or something like that. And then we've got your SD card slot here. No ports or anything on the front, just 2 little hooks here where the slice battery would hook into if you do use that. We've got a full-sized Express Card 54 slot here. There are quite a few peripherals out there, for various sorts of card readers and things like that. One of the most common uses for large enterprise customers of this is to load a smart card, security card reader into that.
Okay.
And then you've got your switch here for wireless off and on when you're on a plane. And then you've got here and here 2 blue USB 3.0 ports.
Okay.
You've got
touted to be 10 times faster than 2.0, I believe.
And then you've got a full-size display port here, and then you've got VGA. Now, the one thing I will point out, for a number of various reasons that have to do with development and space and optimizing, the 230, the non-tablet, the X230, has a mini display port, as do all of the other systems in our current 30 generation. So all the stuff that we've been bringing out, T430, T530, W530, so forth and so on, all have moved to mini display port. This system did not, because of a number of reasons, complexity of design and things like that. It stayed with full-size display port. So no big deal there. And then we've got two exhaust ports here. If we get the camera at the right angle, you can see the copper cooling pipes in there for around the fan, and then our power slot. Okay. So we'll put that back in, and I think the last major thing to focus, because most people will be looking at this, will be familiar with the standard convertible tablet. Obviously, well loved and well used by a lot of different industries, schools, pharmaceuticals, hospitals, that sort of thing.
I see it at the doctor.
Right. So this is the classic convertible tablet. It folds over, rolls around, turns around, flips around, folds over, and then you can walk around and write directly on the screen. And
what
then,
are our specs on the display?
This is available with up to, like I said, there are touch and non-touch versions. All of them can use the pen. Also, it is available with up to a 300 nit of brightness, 1366 by 768 IPS screen.
Great.
So key thing there being IPS. You get the high, wide viewing angles so that your color and your viewability don't change depending on the angle in which you're viewing it. So it's good. And then lastly but not leastly, want to point out the new keyboard that is universal across our current generation of systems. We've moved from the older sort of classical style of keyboard to what we call an island style keyboard internally, but is known in the industry as a chiclet keyboard. Just want to tell people, looking at this, the mechanisms underneath it, the classic ThinkPad typing experience has been preserved.
Which is good. We've won numerous awards and are generally seen as the standard for that.
So from an ergonomic, from an ergonomic perspective, the keycaps are bigger. They're 30% bigger. So in terms of your finger finding the key, you have the right amount of curve, the sort of smile zone. As our folks have turned
the smile design on the bottom of each one, the way that it's a little bit concave, right?
Right. So,
and there's been a lot of chatter in the social media sphere about the new keyboards, and all I can tell you is it's been really, really well received by people who've actually used it, and the press reports that we've had, and the people who used it on our original X1 as well, very positive responses. So,
Lastly but not leastly, one of the things that's going to make me most happy as a user of these is that all of our other ThinkPads that had the classic Think Light up here that shone down to illuminate the keyboard, there was never the room in there to do that on the tablet versions. But, and there still isn't on this generation, but now that we have optional backlit keyboards across the board, function, spacebar, will get, I believe, two off, level 1, level 2, 2 different levels of brightness on a backlit keyboard.
Great.
I'm a touch typist, so I don't need it too much, but it's nice to have it.
You can relax with your eyes closed and write your dissertation.
Okay. So, again, thanks, Gavin, and thank you, folks. I think that just about covers the X230 tablet.
And if you haven't already seen it, check out, we also did an unboxing for the T430 ThinkPad as well. So thanks for being with us.
Thanks.